key to a successful pickup truck is the bedrock on which it's built, and by that I mean the chassis, the interior, and hopefully that will be filled with tech and comfort and a good loading bay. Do you know what? I think I've actually in that sentence summed up everything you need to know about the Mitsubishi L200 Barbarian. Now, the Barbarian is the top of the L200's trim level, and Mitsubishi call it the Prince of Pickups. So, let's give it the Vanarama road test and find out truly once and for all if it is the Prince or the Pauper. So let's start at the front like we always do. Now, the Mitsubishi L200's front end is probably the most car-like you're going to find in the pickup truck market at the moment. Now, while I personally prefer something that looks a little bit more muscly, the L200's car-like front end has turned the heads of thousands of users across the UK. So let's start with the grille. Now, this mesh behind it is a Barbarian only option. You can have this mesh here, and you get this mesh down here as well. I really like it, and I think it sets off the front end very nicely. Just here you've got your bi-xenon headlights, and a nice addition, they have their own washers as well. Now, not a lot of other pickups at this sort of top spec level have that, so that is a great addition. Check out the big chunky alloys. Those are very tough and very hard wearing, and I really like the brushed aluminium kind of finish that they've got going on there. On the wing mirrors, you've got this nice chrome finish. Now, these are fully electric and they do fold in and out, and as you can see, the indicators are on there as well. You've got the very nice doorstep, which is lovely and robust. That's not going anywhere. And check out the detailing on the door handles. Now, all of the handles on the Mitsubishi L200 Barbarian have this nice inlay with the word Barbarian written along the bottom. On the back, you'll notice a canopy. Now, that is actually a Truckman canopy, and that is an optional extra that our workshop guys can fit for you. So if you do make an inquiry, talk to the account manager that you speak to and ask him about optional extras if you want any. So before we go any further, I just want to show off the keyless entry, and I'll be able to show off the folding wing mirrors at exactly the same time. I've got the key in my back pocket. If I just press this button, it unlocks the vehicle and outfold the wing mirrors. I can just open the door here. I can draw your attention to one final thing before we hop in. Just check out the door sill down there. Those are blue LEDs lighting up the Barbarian logo, which is stamped onto that metal once again. So that's everything on the outside. Let's hop on in there and see what sort of toys they've got for us. Okay, so I'll just get these keys out of my pocket because I don't actually need them. Now, I've already showed off that it's keyless entry, and when you press that button, the wing mirrors fold out, but it's also keyless ignition. So if I just press the button, press it twice, there's some key tones. They stop after a while, and all the dials come on, the screen comes on, and all of the indicators come on in the dashboard as well. Now, I'll just turn that off so we can have a look at something that should strike you when you first get into the L200 Barbarian. It has these leather seats. They are absolutely lovely, and they are leather front and back. So it's not just the people in the front that get a bit of luxury, it's also whoever else you've got in the back. It could be your family, it could be your crew. They get to enjoy a little bit of that leather luxury too. And again, Barbarian has been embossed onto all of these seats, so you're in no doubt that you're sitting in the Barbarian trim level. Okay, so let's turn our attention to the bells, whistles and technology. The steering wheel is very nice, actually, I have to say. It's leather lined like the seats, and it feels like, well, you get a very good grip on it. There's a nice little bit of detail around the sides here, which is really where I think they want you to hold the steering wheel. I mean, I usually like to put my hands up here, but actually that's quite a nice comfortable driving position, and the fully adjustable steering wheel means you can have it at whatever depth or height you want. Let's have a look at the dashboard. Now, you've got your rev counter on the left and you've got your speedo on the right. And in the middle, there is a very nice driver information display. Now, sometimes you get these kind of like orange glow from them, but this one is really nice, very simple. It's just a black screen, and on top of that are white bits of information. You've got your oil temperature on one side and you've got your fuel level on the other, and various other information flashes up there as well. Just above that display is one that I really like. Now, obviously this is a pickup truck that has selectable drive, so it actually has a little indicator of the wheels that are being driven at that particular time. If you're in two-wheel drive, it's the rear wheels. If you switch it round to 4, they start flashing and they show that it's moving into four-wheel drive, and you can actually have full lock, and then you just have to push this little button down to go for the fully powered four-wheel drive setting. Very nice, and it shows you in here on this indicator exactly what wheels are being driven at any time. Very nice feature, and it's very, very clear. Speaking of very clear, there are also some really nice functions on this area. Obviously, you've noticed this big screen right here. There's all sorts of information on there. You can control quite a lot of the vehicle right there. On the top left, you've got all your apps. Now, we've hooked up an Apple iPhone, and it's showing me everything that's on that screen at the moment. That's very nice. If you press your home screen, that takes you to the actual Mitsubishi home screen, which allows you to access things like Apple CarPlay, your radio. You can even hook up an iPod, a dedicated iPod on there, which is really nice. You've got your USB controls, your settings, and if you just swipe across, whoop, hang on, come on with me, work with me. You've got your Bluetooth audio connection. You've even got an HDMI in, of all things. So someone can be sitting next to you and they can be watching the latest Star Wars film or something else that Ewan McGregor's been in. I don't know. If you're a big Ewan McGregor fan, go for it. You've got day and night settings. You can turn the screen off. You've got your clock, and you've also got your GPS settings there as well. Just below that screen, you've got your climate control settings, and just below that, you've got your hazards, passenger airbag indicator, and this is probably one of my favourites. When the vehicle is on and you've got passengers in it, it detects where people are sitting, and if they haven't got their seatbelt on, sends you a warning, so you can remind them to put their seatbelt on. It's a really nice touch. Just below that, you've got some other buttons. You've got your heated seat switches right here, which is very nice, which means, again, your lamb chops are going to be nice and warm in the cold, or they're going to be absolutely fine. Just don't turn them on when it's hot. You've got some blank buttons here. And then in the middle, you've got your alarm button as well. And right next to it, under this little flap right here, is a USB connection. That's very cool. And something you don't see very often these days in vehicles is an actual cigarette lighter in a 12-volt socket. Okay. Below there, you've got a nice little tray where we've stuck our phone, and here we go, onto the gear stick. Now, there's some nice leather lining right here, which makes it look quite nice, and the whole head is wrapped in leather as well. It's nice and responsive. It's very easy to move around. It feels very car-like, and again, that kind of couples with the car-like look, the car-like interior, and you've got a car-like gear stick. Just behind that, you've got your handbrake, very nice, and it makes a very nice sound when I turn it off and on. If I just let it go, there we go, on full. In the two cup holders, they give you this random thing here. Now this, I think, is meant to be an ashtray, which probably goes along with the cigarette lighter there, but you can use it to hold change or whatever, and it fits very nicely in that cup holder there. I've stuck the keys, as you saw, in the other cup holder, and let's have a look at this nice comfortable armrest, which is actually at a very nice height, so if you're just driving along, you can feel like a total gangster. Now inside is a little tray that flips up, and inside that, at the bottom, is a 12-volt socket, another one. What I like particularly about this is that if you get a USB adapter into the 12-volt socket, you can plug that in, and you can actually run the wire through this little guide here, and you can stash your phone and you can charge it up just in that little tray down there. Very nice, nice addition, and I do like the trim on the top of that. Okay, let's move on to cabin storage. Well, in the doors, you don't have too much, to be honest, and in actual fact, they put a warning sign saying, don't use it as a cup holder, and we're like, okay, Mitsubishi, but it says you can use it to hold bottles, and that's fine. The glove box is right here, and instead of just a pull catch, it's just a push button, and that opens nice and smoothly, and inside there, you've got your user manual. And what I particularly like is that Mitsubishi, in the user manual, actually stashed the locking nut just down there. So instead of having to root around in a little plastic bag, it's all packaged in one place. Very nice. And now, with all of that said and done, let's hop into the back seats to see what your friends and family will be contending with back there. Oh, there's those tones again. And again, the back seat really does show that this is not just a work vehicle, it's also for your friends and family too. And they, as I said before, benefit from this lovely leather as well. Do you know what? Bizarrely, it doesn't actually say Barbarian anywhere here, apart from... No, it doesn't actually say Barbarian again. Okay, so they don't have to see that. But look, it's got ISOFIX points on this seat here and this seat here. And in the middle is a nice armrest. Comes down and there's two extra cup holders, and that is actually quite squidgy, and I feel like that would be really comfortable. Now there's one more thing to show you in here besides the ample footwells which have blue LED downlighting, and that is this little toggle right here. If you pull this, the whole seat drops forward. And it's not just for show, because behind here is your toolkit. You've got a tyre iron, you've got a big pipe here which looks like it's made for self-defense more than anything else, and you've also got your tyre filler here just in case you have a puncture. I think that's a really nice place to stash it, really good solution, and kind of keeps everything all nice and tidy. Headroom is very good, and they have the little handles over here as well. So, well, that's the back end. Let's go and have a look at the loading bay. Okay, so at the back end, we have to open the top of the canopy first, and I just want to call out the reversing camera. Now, anything you see in this camera will be displayed on your screen when you knock it into reverse. There's the Barbarian detailing around the handle, and speaking of Barbarian, this is something that only this level of trim has. Watch this. Soft drop on the tailgate, so instead of just having these tethers over here, it's actually got a hydraulic cylinder. Very nice touch. Okay, so the loading bay is 1.5 meters wide, 1.5 meters long, and about half a meter deep. The canopy that we've fitted on top adds, well, just under half a meter of more closed depth to this back end up here. It's very nice. The load liner was also fitted by us, and this vehicle can carry a payload of over 1,000 kilograms, which is absolutely superb for this kind of vehicle. Now, as I said, this canopy was fitted by us, and it's something that sets us apart from the competition. And speaking of the competition, let's take a look at some of the other pickup trucks available on the marketplace right now. First up, it's the Ford Ranger. Now, at the moment, this tough hombre of a pickup is incredibly popular, but as you'll see, it too has a lot of competition to deal with, but it's winning. And if you're watching this review, the chances are you've already watched our one about the Ford Ranger too. The Nissan Navara. A tough interior and excellent options in the cabin set the Navara apart from its competition, and if you're in the market for one, I'd advise starting at the Tecna trim level. The Fiat Fullback, a great value pickup truck which actually platform shares with the Mitsubishi L200, so you know it comes from good stock. Definitely worth a look. The Isuzu D-Max. There's something understated about the D-Max, and that's fine. It does the job of a pickup without making a fuss, and the agricultural market loves it. That's high praise. The Mercedes-Benz X-Class. Sharing some bits of the Nissan Navara means that Mercedes-Benz were able to build a luxury pickup on the bedrock of a top-performing pickup. How long it hangs around, though, is anyone's guess. Toyota Hilux. We're several generations in now, and the Hilux continues to perform incredibly well. It's got the usual high Toyota build standards, and the tech bundled in there is incredibly user-friendly. And finally, the VW Amarok. The VW brand is strong, and it's clearly on show in the Amarok. It's big and comfy at speed, so much so you'd easily mistake it for an SUV. And there you go. There's loads of competition for the L200, but the thousands of users already loving it are testament to just how good it is. Definitely put this vehicle on your checklist when you head to Vanarama.com to look for some deals. So there you go, all the competition that the L200 is facing right now. But then, why on earth should I give a fig about the competition when I've got the keys to this vehicle right here? I mean, all I need to do is shut the doors up and hop in the driver's seat and take it on that all-important test drive. The Barbarian is the top end of the L200's trim level, and with that comes an impressive 2.4 litre engine. Now, I've recently driven the Wildtrak, the Ford Ranger Wildtrak, which has a 3.2 litre engine, and actually the differences between them are negligible. For one thing, the Ford Ranger's 3.2 litre engine, it's a Duratorque engine, so you do get all that extra power, but with the Mitsubishi L200's 2.4 litre diesel engine, you don't feel like you're missing too much. And here we are on a hill, and as you can feel, I'm in third gear right now, and it's absolutely making mincemeat of this hill. The incline does not bother it one bit, which is really good. At the end of the day, this thing is built for inclines much steeper than the one up to my home. And to be fair, that's the very least you expect, and it handles it with gusto. So let me see if I've remembered this right. It is a inline 4-cylinder 16-valve engine. And no, I'm not very surreptitiously looking at some notes. It's actually quite a loud engine, which to be honest isn't a bad thing. It's actually quite reassuring to know that it's running, that it's ticking over, that it's pushing me along the road. And coupled with the 6-speed gearbox, it's really smooth and easy to select whichever gear you want and feel like there's loads of power still left to spare. It's very nice. Mitsubishi have done incredibly well with this engine. And round the roundabout, the turning circle is surprisingly low, which is always nice when you're driving a vehicle of this size and this weight. I've yet to experience a moment where I've put my foot down on the accelerator a little bit harder, just hoping that it will bring me a little bit more power. It just doesn't need it. It's always got it. And what I'm really enjoying is how light the vehicle feels. I mean, it's not a small vehicle by any stretch of the imagination, and it's got one of those heavy old canopies on the back, but it still feels like there's plenty more to give. I can put my foot down on the accelerator, there's nice response, there's no slowdown, and the suspension especially feels incredibly smooth and supportive. The L200 in general receives rave reviews from its users and reviewers, and it's well deserved. Running costs are absolutely superb, and to be fair, when they quote 40 miles per gallon, you always kind of go, is that going to actually be what I achieve? But I mean, at the moment, I'm registering around 40 miles per gallon, so fair play. The driving height is pretty comparable to the Ford Ranger Wildtrak. It's nice and high, there's good visibility. I'd probably say that if there was a vehicle that had an edge in visibility, it's probably the L200. It's got very, very thin A-bars, which means that you don't really have to move left or right to see round them. That's always a bonus. And I know, I've gone on about how car-like it looks, how car-like the interior is. Well, the drive is car-like too. And that's not a bad thing. This is a dual purpose vehicle. It's meant to be as good as it is at work, as it is when you're ferrying your family and friends around, even your crew. So when I say it's car-like, I'm not criticising it. I'm actually applauding the fact that a vehicle this heavy and this powerful can feel just like a family car. Nice bit of speed too. I've just had my first alert ping up there, which was I was going too fast round a corner and it showed me a picture of a pickup truck toppling over. Luckily there was nothing else more graphic, such as me rolling it into a field and ending up covered in manure like in Back to the Future, and it's nice to see that the vehicle is constantly feeding you with information about how it's going. You know, your driving style may be, you know, eclectic, eccentric, but it doesn't mind. It's like, nah, you're fine, go for it, choose your drive setting, choose your speed, choose how hard you want to push down on the accelerator. I'm with you all the way, and I'll feed you all the information you need. It's right in front of you. Just check out my little driver display, check out the full big screen in the middle. I've got tons and tons of information, and I'm going to overwhelm you with it. If I didn't know better, I would say that the L200 Barbarian was smart enough to drive itself. But then where would be the fun in that? So how do we finish this one? Well, just take a look at the front of it. It looks like a car. It drives like a car and it feels like a car when you're sitting in it. It's just incredibly smooth, and that's probably all thanks to that big 2.4 litre engine under the hood. Mitsubishi called it the Prince of Pickups. You could even call it the Queen of Hearts, the King of the Road. But I tell you what it has aced, this road test. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like it and subscribe to the channel for more content just like this.